So that's that. Just about ready, Andre.
So you're going to ask me a couple of questions concerning the market in general, things like that?
Yeah, I think we'll talk a little bit about, I have an interesting new thing I want to introduce this show to, Andre. I want to talk a little bit about you being a mentor to me and why I consider that. And also that at the end of the show, I want to ask you if you've had some mentors in your career that have made a difference. And I think we'll close it on that way. So that's sort of my game plan. And then of course, I want to hear what you're up to, just like when we have our chats at the PDAC every year, except last year. All right? Okay, so I'm just going to update things now. And we should be live, Andre. So, perfect. We are, and I will get started right now. Just let me bring this up. Okay, Andre, I'm going to start the show in a second here. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Allan Laboucan. I'm the founder of the Allan Reports and the host of this show today. I have a very special guest. Andre Gaumond has been a mentor. I've considered him a mentor in my career. I watched his success through from meeting him before the ÉLÉONORE discovery of Virginia gold. I watched his, I fondly talked about his company, Virginia, in the past with their second iteration when they had more success and ultimately merged with Osisko. During that process and over time, I've come to know Andre and watch his work professionally, and he is the kind of person that I mentor myself at. Andre, thank you for coming today.
Thank you,
Allan. It's been a long time, Andre, since I got you on a show. I think it was many years ago. Indeed. So I was thinking, Andre, it's a good time for us to get up to speed. Before we get started, I have to do a little bit of my sponsor messages. I've got 3 sponsors these days. Red Lake Gold, or West Red Lake Gold Mines, is drilling a new discovery in Red Lake, Ontario. They're partnered up with Goldcorp. Their symbol is RLG. They trade on the Canadian Securities Exchange. Another sponsor is Wolfden Resources. Wolfden has a new discovery of high-grade nickel and copper just outside of Snow Lake, Manitoba. Their symbol is WLF on Toronto. And I'm sure you've heard about this one, Andre, Premier Gold Mines, which has a wide group of projects from exploration all the way through to production with partners like Barrick Gold, Centerra, Goldcorp, and I think they've got a nice growth profile as well, Andre. I know they're not in Quebec. Are you following any of my sponsors?
Yeah, I mean, I know you and Donnie is a very nice man and is build a wonderful company.
Yes, they do have quite a pipeline of projects, Andre. That's sort of, you know me, I'm into the exploration. I also want to know what you're up to these days, since you know you had been running Virginia for a long time, and now you merged with Osisko. How is that all coming along, Andre?
Very well. I mean, as you know, we discovered ÉLÉONORE, as you mentioned. We ended up with one of the best gold royalties in the world. Osisko was part of a hostile, was the prey of a hostile takeover by Goldcorp. Goldcorp didn't win but at the end of the day, Yamana and Agnico Eagle bought Osisko Mining, and after the transaction with Osisko and Yamana, they ended up with one of the best gold royalties in the world on the Canadian Malartic deposit. So Osisko was based in Montreal. I was based in Quebec City. They were specialists in development and producing mines. We were specialists in exploration. We had one of the best gold royalties in the world. They had one of the best gold royalties in the world. So we decided to merge. Last year, we created the largest, I should not say the largest, but a leader in the intermediate gold royalties company in the world. So we're number 4 in the world in terms of size, around $1.5 billion market cap. We have $650 million in the bank. So what we want to do is, of course, continue to grow. Mm-hmm. So we are obviously trying to buy other royalties, like we did with Teck and a couple of other royalties we acquired. We went from 5 to 54 royalties, I think, in the past year. But we also want to create new royalties, like we did with Virginia and like Osisko did with Canadian Malartic. So we are an incubator of royalties, which is a little bit different than the Franco-Nevada of this world or Silver Wheaton. It's a little bit different in terms of business model. But what we want to have is a pipeline of projects, of royalties on different projects, in order to have cash flows from ÉLÉONORE, Canadian Malartic, and producing mines, but also potential of cash flows from developing projects that will become mines in the mid to long term. So we're buying these royalties or creating these royalties very early on.
It sounds like I get it, Andre. It sounds sort of like a royalty company attached to a prospect generator sort of idea.
Yeah, to a certain point, yes. Let's say that we've created a lot of value. Virginia, with the transaction with Goldcorp and the transaction with Osisko, we created more than $1 billion worth of growth and value for our shareholders. And Osisko themselves, they invested, they raised $1 billion to develop the Canadian Malartic mine, and they sold the company for $4.4 billion, I think. So they made $3.4 billion worth of value for their shareholders. So these two successful exploration and development teams, were the best in terms of creating value in Quebec for the past 15 to 20 years. And now we decided to combine both teams and create, as I said, the 4th largest royalty company in the world.
Well, Andre, I only ever recommended 2 companies in gold in Quebec during the history of my reports. One was Osisko and one was Virginia. So I've been, Quebec and gold have treated me very well. The Osisko and Virginia teams have treated me very well. And I'm really excited about, I know you and I both share a passion for exploration. You laid things out quite nicely on the royalty. You got lots of money. You've got 54 royalties now. You're building more. What's going on the exploration side, Andre? Is there some stuff you can talk about with me?
Yes. By merging Osisko and Virginia, we ended up, of course, with the huge land position that Virginia has in James Bay. So we still continue to explore this land package. So what we want to do is, of course, find other deposits like the Coulomb mine, the Coulomb project, which is actually the largest undeveloped base metal property.
Andre, sorry to interrupt you while you're talking. I just wanted to let you know that as you're speaking, I have a screen share happening. So you've now spoke about Coulon, and I have that up on the website. So our viewers are now looking at that. I just wanted to let you know that as you're talking, I'll be going through these on the website, the Osisko website.
So Coulon is a discovery we made, and we continue to develop it. The largest base metal resources, undeveloped base metal resources in Quebec, and we hope that eventually it will become a mine, and eventually will be developed, and we will end up with nice royalty on the project. So that's the name of the game. It is to create value, discover deposit from the drill bit at a very good price, a very low price compared to buying these royalties, and eventually put these mines into production.
Well, you made a good point there for a couple of reasons, Andre. If my memory serves me correctly, with Coulon, you guys did a lot of work on that project, but it was paid for by partners. And now is it 100% Osisko?
No, we own around 80% of the 80%, and the institutions in Quebec own 20%. And voila. So we, as you said, there was a lot, partners like Breakwater and Noranda who spent, I think, 20 million on the property. And at the end of the day, we own 80% of the deposit. And the beauty about exploring Quebec is also the fact that, like Osisko, when we explore in Quebec, we are allowed to receive one of the two incentives. One is a flow-through share, so good tax deduction, which help us to do not pay a lot of taxes. And the other thing is the tax credit. So for every dollar that we're spending now in northern Quebec, we receive 44% tax credit. So whether we use flow-through or not, we receive a very interesting reimbursement. And so, sometimes we say that it's better to send a check to the government. It's better to explore with that money than send a check to the government,
right,
and have a chance to discover and create a lot of value, and eventually create new royalties. So incubator of royalties, as I said. So the cost is not that high. And usually a huge leverage.
And it's a place where you've spent your career.
Yeah.
In the James Bay lowlands.
Very, very well. We have the best geological database in the world for the James Bay territory, so we know the territory very, very well.
Andre, I mentioned earlier that I've considered you a mentor for a long time, and one of the reasons that I feel that way is I've learned a tremendous amount from you, watching your career and the way you've written news release, done presentations, conversations we've had over the years. But one thing that always stuck out to me was you were one of the first people that ever talked to me about the cost of discovery. We hear lots about cost of developing and other costs, but that exploration cost is very important as well. It struck me that how much you pride yourself on being a low-cost discoverer.
Absolutely.
And that's what guides you, the company's exploration, I would imagine.
You have to spend every dollar like it would be the last one, and these dollars are given by the shareholders, so you have to respect that. You have to, take care of these dollars, optimize them, every dollar. In order, there's no guarantee that you will find a deposit, but at least if you reduce your risk by having partnership, by developing an expertise, by focusing in an area, you increase your chances of a discovery. And by reducing your risk like that, you're of course optimizing your chance, but you're optimizing every dollar that the shareholders gives you. So you have a lot of respect for the shareholders, and you gain that way a reputation.
Well, and you certainly did, and that's why no matter over the years how difficult and challenging the market was, you've always been able to go back to that group of shareholders that you've built up over the years, because you're straightforward with them. You told them where you were going to put holes, you went and put them there, and you made the rationale of why, and you told them what you were going to do, and you did it. that's all that anybody can ask for, as far as I'm concerned, with a publicly traded company.
Yeah, we do our best. Obviously,
Yep.
you need. I always say you need a little bit of luck. I always say we need the 6 discoveries in James Bay over the past 15 to 20 years, and I always say we deserve every one of them because we were there. We work hard in the summertime, wintertime. We deserve every discovery we made. But I always say that there's one world-class deposit out of 6. So luck plays a role when it's time to how rich it will be, how big it will be. Then you have no control. So you always also need a little bit of luck, part of it.
Absolutely. That's we're dealing with Mother Nature, and we're using tools to try to look into underground. It's not always. It doesn't always turn out the way. Our good friend Gennon McDowell once said to me, he says, "The magic doesn't always work, Al." Andre, I've noticed recently that Osisko Royalties did an investment in AZ, Arizona. That one's been making a lot of noise lately because of the high-grade discovery down there. How are you? What? That was an interesting move to me. Anything you can share with us, Andre?
Of course, it's a base metal play, so it's not a gold play, but you do not see that type of situation very often, in a sense that I think it has a potential to be a camp or even a world-class deposit.
Of high grade.
Oh, absolutely. It has already 40 million ton. 40 million ton. It's pretty substantial. It's pretty big already.
Yeah.
And the Jim Cohen, that is now the chairman or the president. I think he's the chairman of the company. Used to be the president or co-president of Barrick, and he developed, by the way, early in his career, the Red Dog deposit, the famous zinc deposit owned by Teck in Alaska, which is the largest zinc deposit in the world. And when he saw that property, he said, "Oh, this is a second world-class base metal project in the making, and this is the second time that I see a project that has a chance to become a world-class." So he decided to be involved. So to see, a man like him being involved with such a property and such a company, and to see the results that they accomplished with a few holes, the property has a huge potential.
So it was one of those situations where, even though it's early, you see the potential very quickly.
Exactly. So that's the type of thing that you need to play it on a mid to long term. It will not give us cash flows on the short term, but in a few years from now, I have no doubt that this will become a mine, and eventually, we didn't pay a fortune for it to buy a royalty. 10 million we paid to buy a royalty, and I'm totally convinced that we will recover. We will do a multiple of in terms of repayment from what we paid. So
excellent. Well, that's the business, buying when things are down and nobody's caring. There's I don't know how closely you're following this or whether you can comment on it or not, Andre, but Sirius just had some SOI had some results out, and they're really close to ÉLÉONORE. I know it's early stages. Are you watching that project, Andre?
Very closely. I like it. It's right at the border of the property that we sold to Goldcorp, which hosts ÉLÉONORE. So we're 1 kilometer from the new discovery. So my point is that Goldcorp's property starts 1 kilometer away from the discovery, and the zone seems to go directly to the Goldcorp project, and it's on which Goldcorp project that we have our royalty. So we watch it very closely.
Is there some kind of big structure there that it's coming from, Andre?
Yes, it seems that there's a kind of a contact between the intrusion and the sediments, which reminds me the vicinity or the geological context of ÉLÉONORE seems to have the same age, seems to have the same alteration. So altogether, I like it very much, to be honest with you. It's brand new, it's early stage, as you said, but this could become the second best gold discovery in the district, in the ÉLÉONORE district. And and again, it is heading towards the gold core property.
Well, I had not long ago, I had John Kaiser on the show, and he was he sort of presented how he thought that he's very hot on that project.
Yep.
And then he described to me how it looks like ÉLÉONORE, or the similarities anyways, and that they were going to drill, and now they've drilled, and now they've found something, and it's starting to gain some real attention there, and they certainly hit some high grades. That's seems to be one I think more people are going to pay attention to as well, Andre.
12 grams over 20 meters, what they announced this morning is the best intersection they had, but that is ÉLÉONORE style of mineralization.
Right, and fairly close to surface, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Andre, I've got a group of guys that I hang around with on a chat site, and they're pretty sharp guys. They one of them asked a question. He had noticed that recently you had been reported as an inside buyer of OBM. I know that some of the guys from Osisko, Sean and John, are part of OBM. Are you? How are you involved there, Andre? Or are you involved, or are you just a shareholder?
I participated. They did a private placement recently, so I just participated to the private placement. What we're trying to do on top of building the Osisko gold royalty company, we building in Montreal and in Quebec City, because we have offices in Quebec and Montreal. We're building a mining house, a powerhouse, a power mining house, and we're really building something there. So again, I told you about the incubator model. So part of the incubator model, we have Falco, Nayago now that is merging with Oban and different companies, part of the mining house. And Osisko Royalties gets royalties into these companies by helping them to finance and giving them some technical expertise. But what we want to do is like a little bit Goodman did in Toronto, have a big mining house, and so do not be surprised if in a few years from now you will have a royalty company, a mining company, an exploration company, a fund, different things that will define the Osisko mining house, and which will again continue to develop the mining expertise and exploration expertise in Quebec, and having financial strength and technical strength in order to create royalties, but also create mining companies. That's the goal on the long term.
Wow, Andre. Well, that is a very big goal, and I think you've done a wonderful job here, Andre, of sort of overview of what's going on with Osisko and OBAM and a couple of these other ones. Andre, I want to thank you on behalf of my audience. But before we close, I want to start a new segment to my show. And I introduced you at the start as a mentor of mine, Andre, and that means a lot to me. It's why, someone like myself, who's not a geologist, has been able to learn a lot about rocks and become a commentator in this industry because of the phenomenal group of mentors that I've had over the years. And I consider you one as well, Andre. But I wanted to ask you, as a new segment of our show, what are some mentors that made a significant difference in your career?
To make a short story, there was a few people. Michel Gauthier who was my technical mentor. He taught me to get the best expertise in Quebec, to build my team around expertise. Gaëtan Morin told me that it takes years to build a reputation, 10 minutes to destroy it. So you have to be, to build on over years and be patient, and eventually you will build your reputation by being somebody that cares for the shareholders and do the right thing and spend the money wisely. Scott Taylor helped me to learn about institutions, how investors, big institutions think, what do they like. Jean Descarreaux taught me how to get outside of Quebec to that Quebecers born can go outside of Quebec and build a company and sell the company outside of in Europe, in US, and can go outside of Quebec and get participation and shareholders from everywhere. So these are the people who told me and taught me different things, and each one of them were very important in my career and in my life.
Well, Andre, it's certainly, I think the greatest honor you can give to a mentor is in your actions. And I would say that, but from the brief description of your mentors, I would say that they all have to be smiling quite significantly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I really appreciate what they did for me, and what I'm doing right now. And I'm part of a group called Mine d'Avenir. It's a group that is helping the next generation of promoters, I should say, entrepreneurs in Quebec. And the big institutions in Quebec are backing that entity, and I'm doing actually mentorship for new generation, new entrepreneurs, and I love to do that. I just love to do that. I have the feeling that I'm giving back to the young ones what I received when I was young from outstanding mentors.
Well, Andre, we've had a chat about this in the past regarding me being First Nations and trying to broaden opportunities for First Nations in the industry. And I know that being a storyteller, such as yourself, promoter, entrepreneur, whatever you may want to call it, the telling of the story is a very important thing. And storytelling is an inherent thing in a lot of First Nations people. I think I exhibit that gene to a degree. And if I could ever help in any way with the work you're doing out there, my phone number, and I'm only a call away.
Excellent.
All right.
Thank you. Yeah,
on that note, Andre, I want to thank you again for my audience for coming on. I hope to get you on again. I think you've given us some very good insights into Osisko and the industry, and had some lovely things to say about your mentors, and I'm glad to have been able to have one of mine on a show, Andre.
Thank you very much, Allan. All the very best to you.
Very good. On that note, I'm going to close the show now, and before I do, I always have to stress that this show is for information purposes only. It's important for you to do your homework and speak with your financial advisors before making any investment decisions. I also want to thank my sponsors, my viewers, and my guests for coming. This show wouldn't be possible without all of you. On that note, you have a great day, and we will talk to you soon.